Me, I want what's coming to me.
Oh, well, what's coming to you, Tommy?
The world, Chico. And everything in it.
1. Boil bag of miracle tea in big pot of water for 30 minutes. Cover and let sit for 1 hour. 2. Pour miracle tea into 1-gallon pitcher. Fill remaining pitcher volume with water. 3. Optional. Pour 11 ounces of agave, or honey. 4. Optional. Squeeze lemon into your pitcher. Refrigerate.
What's the deal? It's the boy Duane.p.mclean at Duane.p.mclean TV. And shouts out to everybody supporting the channel. Shouts out to the DMTV Nation. Really appreciate all the support. Let's get this channel to 8,000 subscribers. All right, so I'm going to be putting that work in. Y'all put that work in. I really appreciate it. Now, today's video is going to be about Jerry Springer and the passing of him. I never was really interested in doing the videos on this guy. You know, Jerry Springer, since I've looked him up, I found out a lot of information which we will talk about in this video. But, you know, Jerry Springer was just an old white dude I seen growing up who really exploited my community, a lot of low-income people, and just made a mockery of people on television. It was good entertainment for the 90s, and he kind of just overdid it, him and Maury. And I want to ask everybody in the audience, who, like as somebody of color, who is a person of color has made this type of content or who did a show like Jerry? It's always some type of guy who's Caucasian, you know, who's always trying to exploit people, who's just, you know, not seem to be as smart or needs to be on TV. You know what I'm saying? They made a lot of money doing this as well. They even made a few other people stars, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, he did pass, I would say, I don't know if it was today or, I don't know, he passed, all right? They say he was suffering from cancer, pancreatic cancer. And first thing first, we all going to pass one day. Everybody's going to lose their lives. And I was really sad that that's how life is. But, you know, it happens. And, you know, in this community, we always want to point out the sack word and say when somebody passes is up to that. In my personal opinion, I do believe these people do get put on offer up when their lives, when they lose their lives, no matter what age. Yes, Jerry died at 79 years old, and, you know, which is expected when somebody's that old. You expect them, you know, not to be on earth anymore. You know, I hope we all see 100, in my opinion, or older. But, you know, if people hit 79, 80s, that's usually the time of a normal lifespan, all right? Now, shouts out to this channel, Lobo. Lobo is a very, very good content creator. His link will be in the description box, and I seen him post this. Lobo, hope you don't mind me using this information, but you did an excellent job. I'm not really too good at, you know, picking them numbers out. You got to teach me how to do this, man. But he did show how the numbers does add up, all right? And like he said in this comment, he said age doesn't matter. It's always by the numbers with these people. And as we get on this video, I will point out that Jerry Springer was within the circle of, you know, quote unquote elites. All right, now it says here, you know, he died at 79, and if you look up Jerry Springer, is equals 79 right there, and it also has the number 83 in it. And if you look up the red rum, you spell that backwards, it had 38 and 83 in it. And if you look up cancer, which is what he passed that from, you'll see it has 37 in it. And I think he passed in Chicago, and Chicago also has 37, all right? When y'all start looking at these celebrities passing, you know, if you're ever interested in doing this type of content, you ever look it up, especially in the news articles, they always follow the numbers when it comes to these celebrities passing away. You know, they're either the age adds up with it, you know, especially if you do the articles or read the articles, it's usually something ended up in 369, all right? And 7 plus 9 is 16, you know, 1, you know, times 6 is 6. So you have your 6 right there within his passing. All right, and you'll notice this is a pattern. A lot of these celebrities seem to leave. There's always something dealing with 369. Now, continue with Lobo's post. Like I said, y'all subscribe to this channel. Link is in the description box. If you look at that sack word, it does have 73 in it as well, all right? And from February 13th to April 27th, it was 73 days. And Jerry Springer was born on February 13th, 1944. All right, and he passed on April 27th. So when you add these numbers up, he passed 73 days after his birthday. Now, these numbers are going to continue to show themselves, reveal themselves when you break them down. He was born in the year 1944. The word Kill When you spell it out or break down the gematria in it, it has 44 in it. Also, cancer has 44 in it as well. All right. I know this stuff might be confusing, but I'm telling y'all this stuff adds up, and it's not by coincidence. All this stuff seems to add up by the numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if anybody's interested in doing this content, when you start looking into it and you start seeing the pattern of it, you will notice that all these celebrities seem to pass on crazy days. All right. Now let's break down this whole post. It says age doesn't matter. It will always be by the numbers with these people. Jerry Springer, 79, died from cancer. 37 in Chicago. 37 at the age of 79. Cancer equals 44, just like KILL equals 44. Jerry Springer equals 83, just like the word red rum equals 83 on the 73rd day of his age. Sacrilegious equals 73 as well. This date also has a date number of 38, just like the word red rum. All right. Shouts out to Lobo for putting all that information together. Y'all go subscribe to his channel. I will have the link in the description box and pinned in the comment section. So he does amazing work. He also breaks down NFL games being rigged, NBA games being rigged. Y'all go subscribe to his channel. I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. Now let's continue with Jerry Springer and show y'all all the stuff that I dug up on him. Now I did not know this man was fluish. All right. Now being fluish in the industry holds a lot of weight. All right. His parents, who were fluish refugees from a region of Germany, which is now part of Poland, were in the station sheltering from a German bombing raid at the time. Springer moved to Queens, New York, age 4, along with his parents and older sister. So he moved here when he was age 4. But see, I didn't know that my entire life. I didn't know he was fluish. All right. A lot of stuff about Jerry I didn't know. All right. We won't talk about this in this video. Now, did y'all know that Jerry Springer was a mayor of Cincinnati? I didn't know that. I thought he was just like a regular talk show host, regular old, Caucasoid dude, but it come to find out, that's why I said he's tied in a lot deeper than we think. And I really think he was picked to play this role and exploit the lower income society for entertainment. Why would a guy who was once a mayor of Cincinnati, Cincinnati council member, mayor, all this politics stuff, politician, end up on a radio show or a talk show exploiting lower income people? Make that make sense, especially people who are African American or melanated people. Make that make sense. It's kind of ironic to me. I really think he was handpicked, if you ask me. A Cincinnati city council member, Springer, served as the 56th mayor of Cincinnati from 1977 to 1978. He then worked as a local news anchor in Cincinnati, where he won several regional Emmy Awards for commentary. And y'all know when they ran these TV show awards, you have to be a part of the, let's think of an R word for it, the dress-up game. We'll call it that. They got to wear the mask and dance in the woods around a fire. You have to do that to get an Oscar, Emmy, or a Grammy. All right. Now I'm shooting off the hip with that. There's no die-hard evidence of that, but from what I have conjured up or at least studied over times, I can conclude that most people who win these awards, pretty much all of them who win these awards, participate in those acts of going to the woods, dressing up in weird roles and dancing around fires. So I do believe Jerry participated in those acts as well. All right. Now, Jerry Springer did do some type of symbolism. I know this type of stuff be kind of a reach to people, especially people who are new to this type of information. You won't see something as simple as a point and be like, okay, that's not enough information to prove that they are part of some secret society. But when you see people doing these gestures, especially Jerry Springer here, doing that point, that right there is a key identifier that they are part of a secret society, especially if you pay attention to the patterns throughout history. That's why you think Uncle Sam did it. We want you. Basically, he was also he wasn't a real person, but he was also propaganda funded by them boys to help get young men to go overseas and put their lives on the line. All right. Now, like I said, if you pay attention to the pattern, a lot of different individuals throughout time have done the same hand gesture as Jerry Springer. Now, this right here is a guy who was a famous Freemason. I got to be kind of strict with that word. Like I said, YouTube is crazy. This guy here was a famous Freemason, and this dude here did it as well. I don't even know who this guy is. I know he's some type of famous politician. But if you look up just look up Freemason point, you will see all the information on it. It's basically the secret monitor grand pontiff. All right, that's what it stands for. But it's one of their symbols that they use in the secret societies. All right. So when I seen Jerry doing this on the front of this magazine, I was like, okay, that might be something that we could use to help point out the fact that he was down with them boys. So we already had that he was fluish. He had his fluish ties. He was in a government. He was part of the government. City council, mayor. So he has government ties. And the guy who's in the government somehow became a talk show host exploiting African Americans. Make that make sense. All right. Now, one of the reasons why I think he did that, or one of the reasons why I think he was picked, because they needed somebody who could pretty much run the show. He actually had the nickname of being the ringmaster as well. I think that was kind of weird. But I think they needed somebody to run the show. They love to put African Americans on TV and make us act, illiterate. So when the whole world sees us, they already have this idea of how we're going to act. So when you're somebody who's you're not on the ghetto side. You're just a little more educated. You carry yourself in a different way. And when you go out somewhere, they're automatically going to be judged. And they did this stuff on purpose. And they actually they paid these people to go on the show and act belligerent. You know what I'm saying? And I think these are younger pictures of Jerry Springer when he was doing his politician race. These people are very old. They have a lot of history. He even was on Robert Kennedy's campaign. But like I said, I do think Jerry Springer was handpicked. Him, Dr. Phil, Maury, Oprah. I think they're all handpicked to do this. So you got to have somebody who's controlled, who you can have full control over them to push these agendas. All right. Now, another hand sign I want to show y'all that I personally think is a identifier that we could use to conclude that he's down with them boys is when you see these guys do the double peace hand sign. All right. I know there might be some people might say, oh, this is for peace out. This right here is a hand sign that was made popular by Richard Nixon. All right. But there's a lot of photos on the internet of Jerry Springer doing this. And him having his flu ties, I do believe that he was throwing this up for a reason to let y'all know, hey, I'm part of the gang. You know what I'm saying? And y'all got to pay attention, man. These celebrities are always doing stuff, hand signs, all that stuff. It's just not regular, hey, let me take a photo to look cool. These people are letting y'all know who we are down with, who we are aligned with, who we're getting our orders from. Only other person I seen do this hand sign was Richard Nixon. He was the president. He was also an agenda pusher, and he was down with them boys. All the presidents are down with them boys. Every last single one of them. All right, now breaking down this hand sign is actually the Vulcan hand sign or the V symbol, and it's tied heavily to those people who are the Flues. If you don't know what I mean by I'm saying Flues, it's the Juliet Echo Whiskeys. All right, they are really. Man, YouTube is really crazy. I'm looking for other platforms to go to so I can have less, less content where I got to bleep out everything. Subscribe to my Patreon as well. I have content on there where I can talk a little more freely, especially on certain other videos. Subscribe to that as well. But the V sign is a hand gesture in which the index finger and the middle finger are raised and parted to make a V shape while the other fingers are clenched. It's various meanings depending on the circumstance and how it's presented. So it has various meanings when y'all see that. So this doesn't mean one thing. It might be something to you, but something else to somebody else. All right. Now, I found this article right here that kind of explains the free Madison meaning behind the peace hand sign. All right. So the onyx great seal with the Latin word New World Order was added to the dollar bill in 1933. Walt Disney was a 33rd degree free Madison. Disneyland has a Club 33. During World War II, 33rd degree Winston Churchill gave us the V for victory, two-finger salute, which since the 60s became peace. Before it stood for victory or peace, it was a symbol for 33rd degree. There are 3 joints to the knuckle on 2 fingers, making 3-3, then held apart like a V, is about 33 degrees. Everything changes at 33 in numerology. All right. So the main part I want y'all to take from this, what I was reading, was that there are 3 joints to the knuckle on 2 fingers, making 33, then held apart like a V. So when you see people holding their 2 fingers up, it secretly stands for 33. Now, I'm not saying Jerry Springer was a 33rd degree free Madison. There's not too much proof on the internet for that, but I'm pretty sure he was really tied to that brother, especially with him being in the government, being mayors and stuff. Most of our politicians are tied to them boys or to that brotherhood. Now, here is Jerry Springer paying allegiance to his deity that they worship. They always taking pictures or some type of image of them being the devil or whatever you want to call it. And when I seen Jerry Springer on the front of Rolling Stones magazine, which is a magazine that puts out a lot of symbolism, especially since the 50s. Since this magazine's been out, there's been a crazy symbolism on these magazines. I could do a video alone on just the magazine covers that has so much symbolism. So when I seen Jerry Springer posing as the devil on there, I already knew what it was, that he's just posing or at least showing homage to the deity they worship. They all worship that goat God thing. All right. But let me know what y'all think about Jerry, man. Was Jerry down with them boys? My personal opinion, I do think he was. Especially when I looked up the history, I'm seeing he was part of the government. He had flu ties, and then just his agenda alone, what I'm saying? Years after years, 30-something years on TV, exploiting the lower income society and African Americans, what I'm saying? He did more damage than helping people. Him and Maury. You know what I'm saying? We all know these areas, there's not a lot of education, there's not a lot of money there, there's a lot of crime. So people are going to make a lot of mistakes, you know what I'm saying? And these mistakes can, lead to a lot of other things that can disrupt society. And they took full advantage of it and made money off of it. The people that will come up there, they will give them narcotics to act crazy. They will encourage them backstage to act crazy on television, to do obscene acts, and to be as belligerent as possible. All right. So and then people love Jerry. People like, oh, I was a fan of him. As I got older, I was like, I kind of despise these guys. Him, Maury, you know what I'm saying? Steve Harvey. I don't like Steve Harvey for no reason. I just don't like Steve. Steve aggravating. So I don't like none of these celebrities. I think they're all kind of, really bad people. I think that what they put on TV and how they try to disrupt the minds is it's not good for society. And I think as a society as a whole, we need to find a way to just disconnect ourselves from these people and to get more connected with nature, get more connected with our families, and get more connected with ourselves. All right. Let me know in the comment section who else you want me to blog on. All right. Who else you want to make a video on. Somebody hit me on email. They want me to do a video on this young lady named Lele from Nickelodeon. So I will try to get to that. Also my Patreon, I will be putting more videos out on that. So we're going to just keep the ball rolling and just keep things moving, man. Y'all subscribe to the channel, man. It's a boy Duane.p.mclean, Duane.p.mclean TV. Y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe. I'm out.